Hi, and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's quick review of The Night Of. This video is a part of a series of videos where I give a quick spoiler-free review of a show currently airing. This video is where I cover the HBO miniseries The Night Of. This video is intended for those who haven't seen the series and is a mostly spoiler-free video, but will contain some minor spoilers from the first episode as they are needed to explain what the series is about. So I originally introduced my quick review series as a weekly edition, but after it's ran its course, I occasionally did a quick review whenever I happened to watch a new show. Well, I've decided now to reintroduce my quick review series as a weekly edition that will run for 2 to 3 months every Saturday. I've put my watching of older shows on hold and decided to focus more on the newer shows. I recently gained subscriptions to all 3 official internet streaming sites in New Zealand, Netflix, Lightbox, and Neon, so I decided to take full advantage of them and going to check out a variety of new shows currently airing. So at least for the next couple of months, we'll be doing weekly spoiler-free reviews telling you what I thought of it and if you should check it out. In this video, I will cover the HBO miniseries The Night Of, which actually isn't currently airing as it ran last Northern Hemisphere summer and has run its course, but I just got around to watching it now. I heard a lot of mention about this show in the past year, but honestly I didn't know what it was about. Judging by the title, I assumed it was like about a party, but no, it's actually a crime drama about a man being falsely accused of murder. Now that may sound like a tired trope as we had these constant lawyer shows like Perry Mason and Matlock where they would defend an innocent man every single week, as well as a barrage of movies like The Fugitive where someone is falsely accused of murder and they have to have this huge, brave, action-packed adventure to prove their innocence. However, The Night Of is a different, more realistic spin on this premise that shows the realistic stakes a young college student of Pakistani heritage without much money faces when everyone assumes he is guilty, how this permanently affects his family and essentially ruins his life. The Night Of stars Rez Ahmed, who I mostly recognize from his supporting role as the naive intern and Nightcrawler, where I feel he did an amazing job and stuck out to me. But a Star Wars fan may recognize him more from his recent role as the pilot from Rogue One. And he is absolutely fantastic in the show. In fact, his character here reminded me a lot of his character from Nightcrawler as he has this sort of innocent naivete to him. So, The Night Of follows Naz, a college student living in New York City who borrows his father's cab without permission to go to a party, but ends up getting diverted when he picks up a seemingly troubled young woman, and after a night of heavy drug use and sex, he wakes up to the shocking revelation that she was murdered, and eventually he's picked up for the crime and a long trial ensues. My personal opinion is that the first episode was absolutely amazing, which depicts mostly the events I described above, and this episode had me hooked. However, I went to IMDb to check out the series after watching the first episode, and I saw that the first episode was by far the highest rated episode, like well above the others. And so it did indeed end up being the case that this show kind of went downhill after the first episode. Don't get me wrong, it was still a good show, but nothing that came after the first episode lived up to how good it was. In fact, after doing some research, I found that the rest of the series was filmed 2 years after the pilot episode, and the lawyer who only appears in 2 scenes of the first episode but would go on to be a main focus of the series was originally played by Sopranos star James Gandolfini, who during the 2-year gap tragically passed away. So the character was recast with John Turturro, who reshot the 2 scenes from the pilot and played the character in the rest of the series. And personally, I thought Turturro was perfect in this role, and it's hard for me to imagine anyone else playing it. But I do think that the rest of the series, although interesting, has explored the descent that Naz went through after having to survive in prison and the questionable morality involved with his lawyers. I do think that this part of the show dragged on a bit too long, and I personally think that this show would have worked better as a 2.5-hour movie and perhaps or perhaps maybe a 2-part 4-hour miniseries rather than an 8-episode TV season. I honestly think it didn't need to be that long, as we got a lot of irrelevant scenes and side storylines, such as the lawyer who's allergic to cats adopting the victim's cat. I kept expecting these storylines to pay off in some way, but they never really did. So honestly, I think I would have enjoyed the series more had it been a bit shorter and more succinct. But the good thing about this show is that even though the viewer is fairly certain from the get-go that the main character Naz is innocent, it introduces a lot of side characters who may have actually committed the murder, and you don't know which one it is, and it gives like little hints that it could be this person and that person, and sort of weaves it out. So it's a kind of good mystery in that regard. So my rating for The Night Of out of 10 is a 7, very good. The pilot episode was amazing, and it's worth watching the show just for that episode. And while the rest of the character's journey through the season was also interesting and very thought-provoking, featuring some amazing performances, story-wise, I do think there was a bit too much excess fat to it that should have been cut, and would have worked better had it been a more succinct storyline, as it did move a bit too slow for my taste. But still an overall quality show. So that's it for my quick review of The Night Of. Be sure to check back here every week as I continue to bring you a quick, spoiler-free review of a show currently airing. And also be sure to check out my channel as I do many more videos on other shows like Game of Thrones, Star Trek, The Leftovers, Better Call Saul, The 100, and more. So be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all of that. And thanks a lot for watching.